EA Sports just announced the next Madden 26 update, and it's one of the biggest ones of the year. There's a bunch of stuff for gameplay, franchise mode, superstar mode, there's new face scans, new equipment, presentation, and more. Now this update does drop tomorrow, but they put out all the info today, so we're going to go over all the info so that when it drops tomorrow morning, you already know what to look out for. And if you're new to the channel and you never want to miss out on any of these important updates for both Madden or the college football game, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of these important videos when they go live. Trying to hit 700k subscribers soon, so if everybody watching just subscribed, we could hit that number literally in a few days. So as usual, we're going to start with the gameplay stuff. This is one of the bigger gameplay updates we've seen so far this year, and we're starting with catching. They increased catch knockout chances for more realistic KO outcomes on competitive game style. So if you're playing online head-to-head, you might see some more knockouts, which in the past people didn't like, but sometimes they overcorrect and then they're not happening enough. So we'll see how this kind of plays out going forward. They fixed catch animations blending to prevent hand warping during catches. They fixed a catching issue on the stretch alert bubble play where the catch would initiate but would not sync up to the pass, resulting in a fumble. Definitely saw that happen a little bit. And they fixed an issue where receivers warp to 23 miles per hour during a standing catch. So probably kind of just a rare issue there, but they did clean that up. Moving on to locomotion, they increased acceleration when escaping the pocket for elite scrambling QBs like Lamar Jackson. So they've kind of been tweaking some of this, I feel like, all year. So we're going to kind of see how this plays out. But those top-end speed QBs definitely need to feel like they can get out of the pocket a little bit better. They addressed an issue with wide receivers jogging after a teammate catches a pass. I feel like that's kind of been in the game for a while, so we'll have to see if that's actually fixed. They addressed an issue with no cut moves playing on slants. They tuned to decrease the effectiveness of the spin move for taller ball carriers. This was kind of big in the competitive scene. If you had a receiver that was, I think, 6'4", 6'5", something like that, they would get kind of these overpowered spin animations, so they've definitely nerfed that down, it sounds like. And they fixed an issue causing a safety and coverage to sometimes use an incorrect drastic turn, taking them out of position to cover a corner route. Now on the defensive side of the ball, they also addressed some stuff. They fixed an issue preventing the proper press animation from triggering in man coverage versus gun empty stealer cross. They fixed an issue causing the AI controlled defense to sometimes align and goal line incorrectly versus 4 wide receiver sets. And they fixed an issue with zone coverage defenders flipping coverage assignments to the opposite side of the field in nickel 3-3 single mug formation when the offense flips their play. Now they also did a number of things for pass rush here, and we knew that this was going to be happening because they did this in the college game as well. I spoke about this in a previous video, so we knew that they would bring this over to Madden. They fixed an issue where defenders with equal or lower pass rush ratings were unable to trigger a super win. Now all defenders have a fair chance to break through based on situational factors and ratings, so that's really good for the pass rush. They adjusted animations for contains when defending against run actions or play action. Defenders will no longer play the surf animation in these scenarios. They improved consistency for CPU/user control defensive linemen triggering pass rush moves. Expect more dynamic and responsive line play. They fixed the delay and contain defenders disengaging when the QB drops excessively deep in the pocket. Pass rushers will now react more quickly to extended dropbacks, and they reduced the frequency of the bull rush moves being triggered. Pass rushers will now use more balanced variety of moves based on their archetype and ratings. Moving on to some more general gameplay changes, this is a big one. They increased the QB fumble chance versus user hit sticks on competitive game style for better gameplay balance. QBs just were not fumbling at all, even when they would eat hit sticks. So for competitive play, people were just running around all day. This is a great change that needed to happen. They resolved an issue where the ball carrier coach adjustment was impacting user players, resulting in user-controlled ball carriers sometimes having 0% chance of fumbling. They greatly improved the visual clarity when a player on the field triggers an ability. They addressed an issue where the minigames 2-minute drill was missing the continue button. They fixed an issue where offensive PI would be called when running the gun bunch strong nasty motion double pass due to blockers going too far downfield. They fixed an issue in Superstar Showdown Ranked where users would hold LB and let the AI play for them. And they tuned CPU QBs rolling out of the pocket too quickly when unnecessary. They even also addressed some stuff with special teams. They increased the max distance on a field goal for kickers with 99 kick power to achieve a 70-yard field goal with the max power low trajectory kick. They also addressed several blocked kick exploits. That was becoming an issue, so I'm glad they fixed that. And they fixed an issue where kick returners would have trouble fielding the ball on shorter kicks to the numbers. And real quick, I did want to mention that we have officially partnered with Civil.gg. If you're looking to win more games in both Madden 26 or College Football 26, you need to check out our website, Civil.gg. We have full offensive and defensive guides that'll actually help you win more games, and weekly new content that's built for players of all game modes at all skill levels. You'll be joining over 2,000 active active members, 98% of them say they've won more games since joining. Right now, you can unlock access to everything you need to start winning for 30% off by clicking the link at the top of the description and using code ERIC. And now, back to the video. Now let's move on to new formations. They added a 3-3-5 penny 3 high formation. They added a dime single mug and 2-3 single mug as well. And they added a dev note here that said, added to provide more flexibility and disguise in your defensive scheme, single mug looks force offenses into more one-on-one pass protection, making it easier to generate heat with stunts and targeted blitzes, especially off the slot. The 3-3-5 penny 3 high safety is based on the real-life Arizona Cardinals innovations. This defense brings a modern spin. 3 deep safeties and fast front personnel create unique run fits and coverage shells, ideal for keeping offenses guessing pre and post snap. So we always love to see new things like this in the game, especially in a game where defense hasn't been too strong. Different ways to play defense is always going to be welcome. Here are some new plays they also added. They added Blitz Loop 3, Nickel Sim 2, and Field Sim 3. They added these to the Nickel Double Mug, 2-4 Double Mug, and the 3-3 Double Mug. They also added a Cover 2 Roll, a Show Strong Safety Sim 2, and a Cross Sim 2 to the Nickel Over, Nickel 3-3 Over, and the Nickel 2-4. They also made some other playbook updates, which I will pop up on the screen right here that you can pause and read. They added some stuff to the Bengals playbook. They've added stuff to the Cardinals, to the Colts, to the Raiders, the Steelers. They also added those new formations into certain playbooks in the game. The dime single mug to the Browns, Chargers, and Chiefs playbook. The dime 2-3 single mug to the Bills, Broncos, Panthers, Rams, and Ravens playbooks. And they also updated the Ben Kurtz dime playbook. It received 36 different plays from Gun Bunch Tight End and 33 plays from Gun Bunch X Nasty. So now that playbook is evolving a little bit more. Moving on to franchise mode here, we have a few things that were addressed here. It says they addressed an issue where the CPU automatically promotes the team's existing offensive or defensive coordinator if a user leaves the league, preventing a new user from completing a game until the league advances. They updated an issue where the Super Bowl logo reference was last year's Super Bowl image, so that's kind of weird that that was even a thing. They updated an issue where coach abilities were displaying as locked, although they were upcoming within the coach archetype's path. They corrected various typos with coach abilities descriptions and coach scenarios for improved clarity, and they resolved multiple stability issues to enhance overall game performance and user experience. For Superstar mode, they added a new stats tab to the Superstar Center with standings and league leaders. They fixed an issue where the team would choose not to kick a field goal during simulation. They fixed an issue where weekly activities would sometimes display a connection name incorrectly. They fixed an issue where different save slot data would be combined, preventing further progression. They fixed an issue where the Adidas quest line cannot be completed with certain gear. Fixed an issue where completing the combine would sometimes result in a black screen. Fixed an issue where the weekly activities would sometimes appear stuck when selecting any of the options, and they also fixed issues with inaccurate stats. They did some stuff for presentation as well. They added custom pregame sequences for the NFL rivalry program, so that's some new stuff you could see when you do those rivalry matchups. They added more CPU highlights for halftime in the weekly recap, so glad they're updating that so we're not seeing the same replays over and over. They're continuing to add more to that. And you can see here up on the screen, they fixed a number of other issues, kind of some smaller things. Some of you might not have even noticed a lot of these, but the 2 first bullet points are kind of the main thing that they added there. They also did some updates to the audio. They addressed a variety of minor issues with commentary playing incorrectly, reducing repetitive commentary, stadium sound effects levels, and music playing incorrectly. They also fixed some issues with the UI that I'm popping up on the screen here. Again, for most people, you might not even notice some of this stuff, but just some small minor issues that they kind of addressed here. And we also got some more stuff added to the game. So in terms of mascots, they added the Patriots mascot, Pat Patriot. They also mentioned here that they apologize for neglecting to include the 8 mascots that were added in the previous update. They didn't mention them in the notes, but they did add the Seahawks, Colts, Browns, Saints, Panthers, Steelers, Titans, and Vikings mascots in the last update. With this update here, they've added the Patriots. So now every team that actually has a mascot in real life has them in Madden. There are a few teams that don't actually have mascots, so of course there's no mascot to put in the game. We've also got some new equipment that we saw already happen in college football. They've added 3 new cleats, the Nike Vapor Speed 3, the Nike Zoom Vapor 1, and the LeBron 4 Menace cleats. They added new wrist braces available to assign and equip. It also says here that they added 6 new Axiom face masks. I want to say that these should be new. I know they added some new ones already this year, but these look like they might be even some more new ones here, or they could have just forgot to mention these in the last update. They also added some new player likeness for Colston Loveland, Benjamin Morrison, Trey Amos, James Pierce Jr., and Chase Brown. There probably will be more likeness in this. A lot of times they do not list all of them in the update, so I'm going to do a follow-up video tomorrow to kind of look over some of the visual stuff that changed with likeness, equipment, playbook stuff, and all those kind of things, because a lot of times there are more things added in the update and they don't get listed in the notes for some reason. There's usually more likeness than what's listed. Sometimes there's even more equipment than what's listed, so I'm gonna definitely make sure to check it out when it drops tomorrow and do a follow-up video to visually show you everything new that was added. Now, the one thing we didn't get today were new Superstar or X Factor players, so that's probably going to be coming in the following update. It was either going to be this one or the next one, so it looks like that's going to be the next one, so definitely looking forward to that. Now, while you're here, if you're playing Madden 26, there are some very important settings that you have to make sure that you have turned on for better game experience. Make sure to check out that video right here on the screen.